to the Express now. The front cover of the Express. Jonathan, what are they running with?
Make no mistake, migrant flights to take off soon. So every loophole is being closed to foil any attempt at blocking migrant flights to Rwanda, a Home Office source has revealed. Right. So this has been a very controversial issue for the Conservatives. There's been people within the party arguing about it, and obviously it's not been a popular policy with a lot of people in the country. Obviously, what we're talking about here are the flights to Rwanda for migrant, but it seems like they're really trying to give it the best shot they can now, and they're really going to try and push through with it.
Yeah, but what about the European Court of Human Rights?
Well, yeah, Rishi said he's actually going to pull out of it, I do believe.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I would say, Francis, that surely we shouldn't be in this European Court of Human Rights in the first place. I mean, I know that we started it back in the day, and I know this predates the EU and all the rest of it, but I would say that ultimately we don't need to be beholden to some judges in Strasbourg when all of the top legal executives and authorities and the High Court in the UK said we are perfectly entitled. Now, I don't think the Rwanda plan is a good one.
No.
But what I'm concerned about democracy. I'm concerned about the idea that we're outsourcing that decision-making to judges that none of us elected. We don't know who they are. None of us would be able to name them.
It's like 2016 all over again.
Isn't it just? I want to bring those days back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that went well.
Yeah, it went perfectly. Look, the reality is that the reason that people voted for Brexit is because they wanted the country to be in charge of making the rules and enforcing their laws.
Number one reason.
Sovereignty. Sovereignty. That, and we don't like them, get them out. Right?
We're trying.
That was me. That was me in my racist voice. But the reality is we are not in control of our borders. And if that is a very damning indictment of a country, because if a government and if a nation is not in control of its borders, then what actually is it in control of?
Yes. Well, they have talked about other places rather than Rwanda. Rwanda seems to be the tipping point. A lot of people aren't happy about the location. They did talk about the Hebrides at one point, didn't they?
Is that why they're setting a time zone for the moon?
Well, maybe the moon would be quite a nice place.
No.
Although, but billionaires pay a fortune to get to the moon. This would be something that...
It'd be Elon and a bunch of displaced migrants.
But, it is a tricky one, isn't it, Jonathan, just in terms of the democracy issue, is that do we just pull out of the court or do we just go against what their wish is? I mean, also, does it matter? I mean, Sunak's taking a tough stance on this.
A bit late,
yeah. Why wasn't this done before?
It's a bit of a Hail Mary, I think. But if we were to pull out of the Human Rights Court, what would the European Court of Human Rights, what would happen? Would there be gaps in our...
Yeah, we'd be really suddenly terrible on human rights and just be awful. No, of course not. This is this bizarre idea that we need foreign judges to tell us what human rights are. We're pretty good at knowing what human rights are. I think we could probably establish it ourselves.
No, absolutely. What it shows is that people voted for Brexit, but actually untangling ourselves from Europe is going to take much longer than initially thought. And part of the reason is because there's lots of people in the civil service who vehemently disagreed with Brexit, and as a result, it hasn't really worked.
Yeah, and people will say, well, the court isn't part of the EU, but the point is, it's the principle. The principle is identical, which is that we need to be able to be in control of ourselves. That's how
self-determination.